Hello, friends, and welcome back to Seshcast. My name is Goldilocks. This is Seshcast, a cannabis podcast for cannabis sessions. If this is your first time coming in, thank you so much for stopping by. I do appreciate it. And if this is not your first time, welcome back. Like I said, my name is Goldilocks. This is Seshcast. I am repeating myself. Effectively, what I do here is I smoke a bowl, and then I pick a topic, and then I talk about that topic in front of a microphone for a little while I smoke another bowl. So by the end of this whole experience, I'm quite high and quite rambly, and hopefully you are at least the quitest bit entertained or informed or something. I don't know, you got some sort of value out of it. That's all I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to make the world a better place through podcasting and weed. Mostly through weed, but kind of through podcasting. Yeah, that's about it. Let's get on to what I'm smoking today is some C4, which I have honestly been really disappointed with. It's an indica leaning hybrid, and it's not a high tester. It was a good price, and that was kind of what motivated my choice, if we're being completely honest. But it just wasn't. I don't know. It hasn't done much for me, and I say that now realizing that I'm quite stoned. But that's beside the point. I've smoked a lot of this today. I just smoked one bowl, but I smoked earlier in the day, so it's my day off. Yeah, whatever. So I'm pretty high at this point, so I can't say that it's like not effective at all because I'm high. But at the end of the day, like it just hasn't been the best bud. I'm not gonna put it on Instagram because it is not in the least bit camera friendly. Honestly, it's kind of ugly bud. And yeah, the effects haven't been overwhelming. I mean, they've been good, they've been positive, but they haven't been like overwhelming in any means. Yeah, it's just been kind of lackluster bud. Not bad. I'm not like sad that I bought it. Like I said, it was a good price. I don't know. I've had better. But I am smoking out of one of my favorite pipes that I have, and it is my little Merlin Glass Sherlock. And the picture of this will be on my Instagram. That is at Seshcast. Feel free to check that out. Seshcast, one word. Name is 2 words, but Instagram handle, obviously, 1 word. And it's just a really, really pretty piece. It's this beautiful, like, emerald jade green color, and just has these, like, really, I don't know, kind of cute dragon-y-esque little spots on it. It makes me think of, like, a dragon's tail is what I think of every time I look at it, or maybe, like, a gecko's tail. It's a very cool piece, and I snagged this at a very upscale head shop. Like so upscale, and it's a really cool place. I love hanging out there because I'm big into glass collecting, but I did not have the coin to like drop on most of their pieces, and they had some really amazing heady stuff, but I was super excited to see something that was this like not subdued. Well, maybe subdued is the right word, but like it's a beautiful piece of glass, but it wasn't like overwhelmingly heady or overwhelmingly expensive. It was very affordable, and I was very happy that I could snag this guy up. So the picture will be on my Instagram once again. That is Seshcast. Feel free to check that out. I'm gonna go ahead and take a hit of this and get on to talking about more than just what I'm holding in front of me that you can't see. Cheers. The taste of this is really just not even that good either. I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me as a overwhelmingly positive taste. It's kind of menthol-y a little bit and like a little piney, but I'm even struggling to like pull actual flavors out of it. It's just a very like harsh kind of taste to it. It's like you take way too big a rip of keef, like way too much keef. That is kind of the way it tastes to me. Just not overwhelming or anything. Sorry about that little nudge there. I had to plug my computer back in. So yeah, today's episode, what we're doing here, important things, Seshcast. Today's episode is, if you couldn't tell by the title, change. For a lot of reasons, I was really struggling to come up with an episode topic this week, like really, really struggling. And I guess I don't struggle to come up with topics. I've got a whole list on my phone of topics to come up with, and got a lot of friends who I've met already through this short little podcasting journey that I'm on, and a lot of them have been super supportive and super helpful to me. And one of them turned me on to this thing of like, you shouldn't start a podcast until you have 50 episode ideas written down or something like that, something along those lines. And that wasn't something I had done before I started the show, but it's something that I like immediately sat down and was like, can I bust out 50 ideas for Seshcast? And the answer was absolutely, unequivocally yes. I don't think that last word really made it out of my mouth. I don't think that last word was really right. We're just going to move on. I can absolutely come up with 50 plus episodes of this show, but I sometimes struggle to pick one that I feel like I want to ramble about for a while, because the whole cool idea of this podcast is to just kind of let my brain go and vocalize the way that my brain works. And so if I'm not in the right place to talk about whatever it is that I'm talking about, I feel like I struggle to get over the mental blocks that my brain puts in front of me, even if I'm 2 bowls high. So I was really struggling this week to pick something that I wanted to talk about. And so instead of like forcing to talk about something else, I just kind of decided to talk about why I think my brain has been so jarbled and so just hard to get around. Like, I've had such a mental block that's been hard to climb over. And I think it's just all the change that's happening in my life that I'm experiencing. And so I figured I'd just sit down and talk about change for a little while. And yeah, see where that goes. And I'm realizing that last hit was a little bit small. And I think before I get into this, I want to take one more hit. So I hope that you are taking a hit or taking a drag or taking a whatever it is you're taking out of whatever it is you have in front of you. I don't know. I just hope that you are enjoying yourself while you're listening to this podcast, whatever it is that you're doing. I hope that it is a positive experience for you. I think that's where I'm at. I don't know. Cheers. Straight up, sometimes I struggle to think of what to say before I take a hit, because I don't want to copy any of the other like podcasters or YouTubers that I follow, that they all say something right before they take a hit, and I feel like I want to say nice sentiments the way that they do, but I'm always afraid I'm going to say the same thing that they do. I don't know if that's important. Whatever. Let's get back to the subject here, and that subject is change. First, I want to talk about some crazy changes that happened with the podcast this last week. Some behind-the-scenes Seshcast info. So big switch, and I don't know if anyone outside of the podcast community really cares, and if you don't, I'm sorry. But if you do, this one's for you. I switched my hosting from SoundCloud to Libsyn, which is just like, oh my gosh, it's like stepping out of the dark ages into the future. Holy smokes, everything is so easy. I'm in so many more places now. That's really cool. I'm super excited about that. And I'll talk about that here in a second. But yeah, man, I switched to Libsyn, and that's sweet. But really, to anyone who didn't understand any of that podcast jargon that just happened there, basically I've kind of committed to being a little bit more serious about this podcast. Not that I wasn't ever serious about it before, but like those first 4 episodes were just sort of like a pilot run for me. Like, I want to make sure that I can do this. I really want to commit to this, but I want to make sure that it has legs to stand on and that people might care and whatever. I wanted to have a place to go with it. And so after 4 episodes and figuring out, like, I really really think that I have something here and I really enjoy doing it, so I want to keep doing it. And I decided to put a little bit more time and energy and effort into making it happen. And so switching from SoundCloud to Libsyn was my like, all right, here I am, I'm in, let's do it. Which from me to you translates as you can now check me out in significantly more places. So my YouTube channel, up and active. Awesome. Super, super great about it. As I said, the episode 1 YouTube channel is totally just a backlog of episodes. So if YouTube is the most convenient place for you to listen to a podcast, and I totally understand sometimes for me, YouTube is the most convenient place for me to listen to a podcast, so I 100% understand. So if you want to listen to this on YouTube, that is available. Just search for Seshcast. I should come up. I don't have a URL yet because I don't have enough subscribers. So feel free to subscribe to me on YouTube. That would be helpful in the long run because I will be able to put out a custom URL, youtube.com/Seshcast. Just a little bit easier for people to find, but again, not a main outlet, not something that I plan on being super active on right now, but a thing that now exists that didn't before, which is cool. So check that out if you like that. Also, Spotify should be coming around here right quick. I'm waiting for approval from Spotify, so hopefully by next episode I will have official update on that. But I'm hoping that sometime after this comes out, into the next couple of days here, I will be on Spotify as well, which is also muy bueno. Big old fan of that. And I think those are the big outlet updates right now. I do also have a quote-unquote website now. It's the Libsyn. When you use Libsyn as your podcast host, you automatically get a website. So it is not particularly attractive. It is not particularly robust. It exists. It's a URL that you can go to and listen specifically to my show. So if you want to check that out, that is seshcast.libsyn, libsyn.com. So feel free to check that out. Again, it's nothing special. It is very unattractive, but it exists, and that's cool. And hopefully there will eventually be a website with all this as well. But there is the update there. Instagram still a thing that I have that I will still update regularly. However, I think it's the Instagram post that is going to be like a hard 8 o'clock Eastern time every night, but the episodes may go up before 8 o'clock. So they will go up sometime on Thursday, but not necessarily 8 p.m. So if you subscribe to me in any of these places, you will still be able, or like you will be able to hear the episode before I tell people that the episode exists. Not that it's, trust me, listen, I know that that's not anything important. I know that that's not some like, whoa, look at, it's like a special bargain deal. This is not Patreon or anything. I'm just saying, like, subscribe to me if you want to, and then you can hear the episodes before I post about them. Hooray. Not that that's anything special. That's just a thing that I can do. So there you go. I can owe you that much. It is my small thank you. I wish that I could give you more for subscribing to me somewhere, but that's my thank you. You get it maybe half an hour early or whatever. Oh, and to clarify from earlier, SoundCloud, iTunes, both still exist. That's probably where most people are listening to me from, I would assume. But those two places will still exist. So SoundCloud, I think I'm like soundcloud.com/sesh_cast. I think that's the one I couldn't lock down the like full Seshcast on. And then iTunes, obviously, you can still find me. Seshcast is the same there. But SoundCloud is not going to be my main hub. However, it will still exist because I spent 4 episodes saying SoundCloud is my main hub. And it would be ridiculous, I think, to move away from that now. So I think that those are all of the big changes that matter specifically to you, the listener, in the podcast realm. But that has been kind of a large-scale change for me because I have really, like, I don't know, I've been wanting a hobby of some sort since I graduated from college, because college takes so much of your time, and then you get out of college. Well, I mean, so much of your time day to day. Not like, woo, 4 years is so long, but like Monday through Friday, your schedule is pretty much packed pretty much all the time. Somehow, whether that time is scheduled time to lay on the couch with your buddies or that is class time, like your brain, I think I've talked about this before, but your brain is like actively consumed during college. I don't know, I'm high, go with it. And then you get out of college and you go to work, and then you come home, and then you have like no reason to anything for most of your day unless you are at work. And so I've been looking for something to be my reason to something, my thing to do, and I want it to be this podcast. So I just kind of made that decision this week and changed some general things around to make that happen. And I think that's one of the things that has sort of played into like this kind of mind unease that I've been in. Like, I've really just sort of been in this weird like struggling to like find a level mind space because of how much stuff in my life right now is changing. And I thought that it would be interesting to talk about that. And I don't just mean to talk about like, oh, these are all the changes that are happening in my life, because outside of the podcast, I'm not sure that you really care. But just change is such a big thing. Like, change, big word, umbrella change, is such a big thing for so many people, myself included. And I think that it's something that we all just kind of acknowledge happens. And people say change happens, you just have to be okay with it. But nobody really talks about why change can be so hard or so upsetting for people. Because change is really hard, I think. And I know that there are some people out there who love change and like, you know, you need to spice up life every once in a while. And I'm envious of you if you are that person, because I get so locked into routine that is just where I'm very comfortable. But so many people just love change. I don't know. It's not me. I don't understand it. That's not where I'm going here. Where I'm going is that I think change can be really, really, really hard. And I think that that's for a lot of reasons, like a lot of really deep-seated things in everyone. And so I think that people get really upset about change, and other people around them don't really acknowledge that might be what's upsetting them. I don't know where I'm really going with this. I just, like, I've been caught up on this a lot, because I feel like I am at an age where everybody's life is going through some sort of weird change. You know, I'm in my early 20s, like, not really an adult, not really a kid, in this weird little space, and I just kind of exist. And I feel like all of my friends that are also my age are also just kind of existing, trying to figure out where exactly life is supposed to go. And that can just be so unsettling. That not knowing what the next day is going to bring. And I think that, like, you come to these huge impasses, like these real, like, things are going to change. You're going to go from doing this to doing that, whether it's like you get a new job or you move to a new place, or you pick up a new hobby, like whatever. You hit these big changes and it just starts to feel like more and more and more. When in reality, like, you face changes every day and on these, like, on the smaller little scale, and it doesn't upset people. And I think that there's this weird disconnect there, and I think that's how I have sort of started to come to terms with change, and like how I have been trying to rationalize change happening. And I realize, like, I don't even know what I have said for the last like 10 minutes. So if I just got from point A to point P with nothing in the middle except maybe some Q, I'm sorry. I don't know. But I'm going to take another hit I don't know. We'll go somewhere else to talk about change a little bit. Cheers, friends. Speaking of change, the music is new now. I got a new little pack in my DJ Mix app thing that I use to make the background music. So it's got that cool little reggae dub kick in it. I'm pretty psyched to play with that after. I haven't recorded it yet because I record that after I record the episodes. So I don't know exactly how it all sounds yet, but I downloaded it. I'm super excited to play with it. So I hope that you enjoyed the music for this episode because I'm sure future me did, and past me probably would too if I was able to hear me doing this later. Yeah. So, change. I don't know. Let's get back to change. I think that, like, things change from day to day on small levels, and it can be so upsetting or also so easy to get along with, and or so easy to like accept, because like, you know, you go, so say that you commute to work however far. I don't know, you drive 5, you drive 10, you drive 15, you drive 20, you drive an hour, whatever, you drive minutes to get to work. And like one day there's a construction site somewhere on that path, and you hit that construction site, and then you have to go a different way to work. You get there late, and it sucks because your way to work changed, and so like that change is the worst. But then the next day, like, you change your routine to go the new detour way, and it's fine, and you get over it, no problem. And then, like, after the detour is done, or I'm sorry, after the construction is done, you switch off your detour and go back to just like the normal way you went to work, and you kind of miss the detour way, but then the day after that you're back to normal. I hope that I followed my own path there, because I think what I'm trying to say is like change is really scary until it happens, and then change doesn't end up being that scary anymore. You know, like the most intimidating part of change is the build up, and then it is almost always a letdown afterwards. But I think that everybody has major life changes at some point in their life that makes change scary for them afterwards. Okay, I think that's the direction I want to go. So like, change isn't scary necessarily. Like, I don't know, let's say you're moving from where you are to somewhere else 12 plus hours by car away from where you are. Yeah, you gotta drive. Like, it's not you can't get there and get back in the same day. Boom, that's what I mean. You're moving somewhere more than a day away from where you live now, right? The scary part typically isn't the city you're going to or the place you're going to, because that place probably in reality has almost all of the same general things that the place you are now is, or the place you are now does. But what's scary is that it's going to be different from the way that you're used to it being. There's going to be a change. But then once you move to the new city, hopefully everything is going to be great, and it's not going to be scary, and you're going to love living there or whatever. But that doesn't always happen. And so I think it takes that time for everybody where it doesn't always happen to make change scary. And so after that, you are just infinitely terrified of change. Or I guess maybe that's how I feel about it. I don't know, because I moved at a really young age. Like, I think it was like 5 the first time we moved, and like, I don't think that was a huge change, but I also had like a completely different group of friends. And then one time when I changed schools, I didn't move houses, but I had a complete like switch in who my friends were, and those changes were like, not necessarily the most positive every time. Maybe that's my major change that has made me so, like, oh, I hate change so bad. But sometimes I think I get envious of people who are excited for change, or who the change doesn't scare them, and I kind of realize that those people they haven't been burnt, they haven't had a bad change, and I'm super jealous of that, but I'm also super happy for you if you are that person, because that's so cool to know that, like, you haven't had a negative experience. I don't know, I want everybody to have a positive experience, a positive, like, life journey, but I just think that it's cool that there are people out there who don't fear change the way that I fear change, because change does really scare me. Like, I don't like the thought of moving. I don't know. I don't like the thought of getting a new job. I love routine. Like, if I can settle into doing the exact same thing every single day, or on some sort of regular schedule, I feel much, much better about that. And changing from that just really just sketches me out. I don't enjoy it. And to make me stop thinking about things I don't enjoy, I'm going to take a hit of this C4 that has put me in such a random little headspace. Cheers. The Sherlock is beautiful, but in reality, the the bowl sits really close to the mouthpiece, so I end up with, like, burnt mustache hair, burnt nose, burnt upper lip, kind of often. It makes me a little sad. Beautiful piece, though. Just, gosh, I love this one. So, change, I think, is what I'm talking about. I don't know, man. Change is crazy. Like, anytime I've got a major change coming up in my life, it definitely upsets me long run, like, outside of just that change, because, like, I think one of the craziest things about change is that when it hits you, like, when you have a big change coming, or you're expecting something big to change, like, you have that thing that occupies just this huge chunk of your brain, but all of your other things are still going on, like nothing is happening. You still got to keep living life and doing the same thing you're doing while you have this massive change looming over your head. And so you see the exact opposite of that change every single day, and I think it makes change even scarier and crazier. So for me, anytime I know that I have a big change coming up, I really struggle to, like, do my other things for the day. Like, I struggle to, like, accomplish my day-to-day tasks when I know that I have something big coming up. And it doesn't matter, like, how far away that is, but just, like, I get obsessed over this thought of, but this isn't the way it's gonna be. Like, I'm doing this now, but I'm not gonna be doing this X or Y, and that, I think, is the piece that I wish I could, like, get away from. Like, I wish that I could free myself from that mindset, and I think that's something that I'm actively working on, because I feel like I get obsessed over this idea of, like, I'm not going to be doing this anymore, which means I'll never do it again, when in reality, like, that's just not true. And I mean that for all things. I don't know, I tried to put that in the most general way, positive. Whoa, that wasn't English. I tried to put that in the most general way possible, and I don't know that I did. Like, oh crap, come on, brain. Oh no, the weed kicked me off that train. Dang. Cheers. I would love to, at some point, sit down and smoke a bowl with everybody who ever listens to this podcast. I think that would be the coolest thing ever. Like, not all at once or all at once. That would be cool. Like, man, that would be insane. But like this whole premise, this whole concept of my podcast is born out of me smoking with other people, and wanting to have someone to smoke with and not always having someone to smoke with. And so I hope that this podcast is somebody else's person to smoke with at one point or another. That's the goal. So I think that it would be also cool to be that person in real life. There's that. Why I bring that up? Because I'm sure that many people will listen to this podcast and think, it's not real that he forgets what he's talking about. It's not real that he just stops and goes a different direction. That's fake. That's made up. That's for the show. If you ever actually smoke weed with me, I promise that's the most real thing. Like, the most real thing. I have ADHD, not when I'm high, and then I get high, and that helps a lot of things. I'm a medical patient for a reason. It helps so many things. But my ADHD is not one of them. I by no means get more focused when I'm stoned, even if it's like the most just racy sativa. I get focused on like individual points, but they're like ADHD points. They're never what I'm actually doing. That is, yeah. So like, I swear, I really like, my brain will just stop mid thing for no reason, and that's what happened earlier. And I don't remember what I was talking about. And the idea of this podcast is all the fun of a smoke sesh, and there's no going back. Yeah, I don't want to go back and figure out what I said. I just hope it meant something. I don't know. Yeah, change is weird. Like, it becomes such an infectious part of your brain, and then to get rid of that, you just have to accept that it's probably not going to be as bad as you want it to be. Or excuse me, the only way to really get over that is to just accept that the change probably isn't going to be as bad as you think it is. But in reality, it very well could be that bad, because probably at some point you've had an experience that was that bad, and now you're scared to change, or I'm scared to change, because I am. Like, that's just it. And like, I don't know how you get better at that. Like, how do you just accept things better? That's something I try really, like, I try to be open-minded. I try to listen to everybody's opinion. I try to accept as many things mentally as I can. And I don't know how you can make your brain accept things better when it's already like decided that it doesn't accept them. Other than lots and lots of experience, I suppose, but that doesn't help. That's basically just immersion therapy, and that's not what I want. I don't want to just change my life every 3 days for the next 2 years and then be fine with change. That is my own personal nightmare, and that is not what I want. But like, I don't know how you just get better at that. I don't know. It's weird. It's one of life's great questions. How do you get better at accepting things that suck? And I don't know. I really don't know. Not that I'm thinking people are coming here for advice. I'm not trying to sell you the world here. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how you get better at that. I wish that I did, but I don't. And if that's something that you struggle with as well, I'm sorry, because I struggle with it too, and I know that sucks. And if you're not somebody that struggles with that, I'm very happy for you, because it sucks, and I don't want people to experience things that suck. Like, I'm not into wishing my things that I struggle with on other people. Like, I don't wish anybody else had a bad time with this. That doesn't help anybody. That's dumb. I don't like that. So happy for you if you're not like this. If you don't fear change. But if you fear change, and if you got change coming up and it's sketching you out, man, I'm sorry. That sucks. And I hope that it goes well for you. Cheers. I've been like endlessly just patting down this bowl because I packed a pretty big one. I think, oh gosh, I'm finally about done. This little Sherlock has a really interesting bowl shape. So it's kind of deceivingly large. And it doesn't look like it's as big as it is. It's cool. Um, I've talked about this Sherlock a lot. I've talked about Libsyn a lot in this episode. I want to clarify that neither of them sponsor me. If they would like to, yo, hit me up, man. seshcastgldlx@gmail.com. Yo. But I'm not sponsored by anybody, so please don't think any of this is a sponsored ad or anything. Yeah, change is crazy, and I wish that change didn't happen, but at the same time, I know that it needs to happen, and I think that I've hit that exact point in my life. I've hit a point where, like, I am comfortable where I am, where I'm living, what I'm doing. Like, I could set myself up with a comfortable life right now, but I think that I know that I need that little bit of change. I'm unsettled where I am, and so I'm finding myself wanting change for the first time in my quote-unquote adult life, and it's making me ask myself, is this what adulting is? And like I mean that very sincerely, and I think that people older than me may or may not understand, and people my age may or may not understand what I mean by that, but I think that that's going to resonate with people. Like, you just have these moments where you're like, is this it? Like, am I not a kid anymore? Is this how that feels? Is that where I'm at? And I'm having one of those moments. Like, I want this change for myself. I don't want to be in the exact lifestyle. Like, I don't necessarily want to be doing what I'm doing right now. Outside of this podcast, tried to clarify that earlier, but like, I don't necessarily, like, I'm not happy with exactly the way my life is right now, and I am coming up to a change. I'm not saying this as like what was me? Like, I'm not happy with where my life is, and I'm not doing anything about it. Like, no, I'm building up to a big life change that is scheduled and planned and coming and is happening. And so that's the point that I'm at. Like, I wanted this change, I'm making this change happen, and now I am scared again of change. And I'm trying to rationalize that. I think, honestly, I'm trying to rationalize that in this podcast, is how can one both want change and also fear that change? No, I'm not saying like, oh, I don't understand, because I do. Like, I get it. It makes sense. All right. Plenty of people have known that change is needed, and like, yeah, whatever. What I'm saying is, like, that's the point where I am right now, and I think that will resonate with people. And if it resonates with you, like, I think the best advice that I have right now is try to accept that in reality things will be both better and worse than they are now. Things will change for the better, things will change for the worse, and things will change, but it will not be the end of the world. And two, like, just because you're doing something for the last time doesn't mean that you will never do it again. I said that wrong. Just because this is the last time you're doing something for the foreseeable future doesn't mean you will never do it again. I think that those are the, like, wrap points from this episode. Sorry, I'm super high. So if I missed anything in there, merp. But I hope that I hit the important points. That I think is my takeaway. Like, that's at least that's the takeaway of what I am getting for myself. Reality, it's probably going to suck a little bit and also not suck a little bit when big change happens. Also, just because you are going to do something differently doesn't mean you'll never do it the old way again. Doesn't mean you'll never come back. Doesn't mean you'll never check out the old job. Doesn't mean any of those things. Like, I don't know. That's just, like, the sort of takeaway that I have kind of had over the last week or so that I hope I can pass along to somebody else. So, if you've come to the end of this episode, because that is where we are. Thank you for coming on this wild and crazy little journey with me. This one has been kind of all over the place, and I'm telling myself that I need to be unapologetic for that. That is the point of this podcast at the end of the day, is to go in any direction. There is no script. There is no rules. There is no nothing. Try and keep it family friendly. Try and just roll on forward. Just talk. And that's it. So, thanks for coming on this journey. I do appreciate it. I hope that all is well for you. I hope that all continues to be well for you. And I hope that if all is not well for you, you are at least able to sit down and map out a plan that can lead you to a place where things will be well for you, even if that plan involves a large, scary, not so enjoyable looking change. Because I think that at the end of the day, that is where I'm at. I have all those places I talked about earlier. I will put them all on my Instagram. That's the easiest place to find me. I'll see you next week. Let me cheers on out of here. Cheers. My name is Goldilocks. This has been Seshcast. Thank you so much for listening.